Precious Remedies Against Satan's Devices, a study done by Thomas Brooks. We are at chapter 4, titled Satan's Devices to Keep Souls in a Sad, Doubting, Questioning, and Uncomfortable Condition. We are now at device 3. I do this in small chapters small parts, because there are 8 of them and it's a 50-page counting chapter. Device 3. By working the soul to make false inferences from the cross actings of providence. Saith Satan, dost thou not see how providence crosses thy prayers and crosses thy desires, thy tears, thy hopes, thy endeavors? Surely, if his love toward thee, if his soul did delight and take pleasure in thee, he would not deal thus with thee. The first remedy against this device of Satan is solemnly to consider that many things may be cross to our desires that are not cross to our good. Abraham, Jacob, and David, Moses, Jeremiah, Jonah, and Paul met with many things that were contrary to their desires and endeavors, that were not contrary to their good, as all know that have wisely compared their desires and endeavors and God's actings together. Physic often works contrary to the patient's desires, when it doth not work contrary to their good. Of a godly man who had a great desire to go to France, and as he was going to take shipping, he broke his leg, and it pleased Providence so to order it that the ship that he should have gone in at that very same time was cast away, and not a man saved, and so by breaking a bone his life was saved. Though Providence did work cross to his desire, yet it did not work cross to his good. The second remedy against this device of Satan is solemnly to consider that the hand of God may be against a man. When the love and heart of God is much set upon man, no man can conclude how the heart of God stands by his hand. The hand of God was against Ephraim, and yet his love, his heart, was dearly set upon Ephraim. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus: Thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised as a bullock, unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn thou me, and I shall be turned, for thou art the Lord my God. Surely, after that I was returned, I repented, and after that I was instructed. I smote upon my thigh, I was ashamed, yea, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he pleasant? Child, for since I spake against him. I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled with him. I surely will have mercy upon him, saith the Lord. Jeremiah 31, verse 18 to 20. So God can look sourly and chide bitterly and strike heavily, even where and when he loves dearly. The hand of God was very much against Job, and yet his love, his heart was very much set upon Job, as you may see by comparing chapters 1 and 2 with chapter 41 and 42. So the hand of God was sore against David and Jonah when his heart was much set upon them. He that shall conclude that the heart of God is against those that his hand is against will condemn the generation of the just, whom God unjustly would not have condemned. The third remedy against this device of Satan is to consider that all the cross providences that befall the saints are but in order to some noble good that God doth intend to prefer upon them. Providence wrought cross to David's desire in taking away the child sinfully begotten, but yet not cross to more noble good. For was it not far better for David to have such a legitimate heir or heir as Solomon was, than that a bastard should wear the crown and sway the scepter? Joseph, you know, was sold into a far country by the envy and malice of his brethren, and afterwards imprisoned, because he would not be a prisoner to his mistress' lusts. Yet all these providences did wonderfully conduce to his advancement and the preservation of his father's family. Which was then the visible church of Christ. It was so handled by a noble hand of providence, that what they sought to decline they did promote. So Joseph was therefore sold by his brethren, that he might not be worshipped, and yet he was therefore worshipped because he was sold. David was designed to a kingdom, but oh, the straits, troubles, and deaths that he runs through before he feels the weight of his crown. And all this was but in order to the sweetening of his crown, and to the settling of it more firmly and gloriously upon his head. So God did so contrive it, that Jonah's offense and those cross actings of his that did attend it should advantage that end which they seemed most directly to oppose. Jonah, he flies to Tarshish, then cast into the sea, then saved by a miracle. Then the mariners, as it is very probable, who cast Jonah into the sea, declared to the Ninevites what had happened. Therefore he must be a man sent of God, and that his threatenings must be believed and hearkened to, and therefore they must repent and humble themselves, that the wrath threatened might not be executed. Remedy 4. The fourth remedy against this device of Satan is seriously to consider that all the strange, dark, deep, and changeable providences that believers meet with shall further them in their way to heaven, in their journey to happiness. Divine wisdom and love will so order all things here below that they shall work for the real, internal, and eternal good of them him. All the rugged providences that David met with did contribute to the bringing of him to the throne, and all the rugged providences that Daniel and the three children met with did contribute to their great advancement. So all the rugged providences that believers meet with, they shall all contribute to the lifting up of their souls above all things, below God. As the waters lifted up Noah's ark nearer heaven, and as all the stones that were about Stephen's ears did but knock him the closer to Christ. So the cornerstone, so all the strange rugged providences that we meet with, they shall raise us nearer heaven and knock us nearer to Christ, that precious cornerstone. And with this, I have come to the end of this reading of the about the third device. The next time is device 4. That's a quite long chapter. So, thank you for listening, and God bless you.